you guys are rock solid on the first part of the quiz, the first pretty much 4 questions. There were 1 or 2 people who missed one or here, maybe 3. I think they were a little bit of a careless mistake kind of thing, and you can correct that with each other. However, a lot of people missed the 5th one. So that's what we need to talk about. And I think the thing that took you a long time on the quiz, and I think the thing that caused some misunderstanding, was one key word in the whole question.
Graph?
Sketch. Right? Doesn't it say sketch a graph?
Yes.
Yeah. Sketch means that the standard of exactness is severely decreased. It means we just want to get an idea. Okay? It doesn't mean we need to be perfect. And what I noticed with a lot of you, like Anthony's was gorgeous, but he plotted every point, he worked them all out. And as you noticed, Anthony finished last. Now,
That's because there's more focus on the graph.
that's right, and your graph was actually too good, because all we wanted was a sketch. I'll show you what I was looking for, and when I show you what I was looking for, you're gonna go, that's it?
So we just go like.
So it's just a straight line essentially.
It's not a straight line, and that's what I'm looking for. It's 2 types of graphs, piecewise, put together. It's exponential,
Exponential and
then linear,
That's what I drew.
okay? So,
I mean, sure.
what we were looking for you to do, so what we were looking for you to do was basically this. I didn't need to see coordinates. There were like 3 things I was looking for. The first thing I'm looking for is this, that you don't start at 0, 0. The reason I didn't want you to start at 0, 0 is because you started with, I think, 2 fish in the pond or something. So that would not be 0, 0. Then you go exponential, linear, done.
Are you kidding? I literally forgot the linear part.
Do we have to put numbers
Oh,
in the
No.
box?
The reason,
not clear on
Wait,
the
so I
definition.
kind of did it
yes,
right? I just didn't have
exactly.
any
And what did I say to you before you started the quiz?
I don't know.
What is the purpose of the first quiz? To teach you, to fail. To teach you what you need to know. It's a diagnostic tool. And the big thing from today's work is what they mean when you say the word sketch. Sketch is simple. Anthony?
So you didn't even have to label it?
Well, you know what, I was just looking at it quickly, I wanted to see, you could go like, what is this, time, and fishies, and I don't know, oh, happy day, whatever you want to do, all right? The way you would see this on a Regents exam, is they would say to you, they would describe a situation like I just did, and then they would put 4 graphs, and you would have to say one. One of the choices would look like this. And what's wrong about that graph?
It's backwards.
It's right, it's linear then exponential. So they're just looking for you to be able to recognize, I see it, look, that's exponential, that's linear. That's all they're looking for, okay?
Bless you.
God bless. So sketch is simple, keeping it really, really simple, okay? Any questions? Okay, so, I would like now, it's also, what's so important about these daily quizzes, in case they ever get on your nerves, what's so important about them is it allows me to see what you know and what you don't know. For instance, I would have gone over the do it today and redone, bless you, I would have redone numbers 1 through 3. I'm not going over numbers 1 through 3 because virtually every kid in the class got numbers 1 through 3 right on the quiz and they're pretty much the same. I will, however, go over letter D. And letter D, what we taught you yesterday is that there's basically 2 types of situations that you can run across when we get into multi-step equations, okay? Now, I'm drawing those black lines down the middle because I'm about to say to you that what matters is whether the variables are on the same side or on the opposite side. And the thing that's important, this is when we stop doing homework, right? We're paying attention to the lesson now. What's important is that you understand the correct strategy for the correct thing. You guys tend to be experts at this. For example, you know the difference between your mom and your dad. You know, if you want something, how to approach each one. And there's definitely a different strategy. For example, for mom, you might do something like this. Mommy, you're working so hard with those dishes. Why don't you have a seat and I'll do the dishes tonight, Mom, and let me straighten up the kitchen. Oh, by the way, Jenny and Janie and Billy and Bobby are going to the movies, and I was wondering, do you think I could join them? Well, she might, but generally that works with a lot of moms. But you try that with Dad. Dad's gonna, what do you want? Well, cut the crap. Oh, sorry. Dads are gonna get to it in a whole lot different way than mom is. With my kids, they would try to suck up to mom. They'd try to like have the house vacuumed before mom got home. And I would just kind of look at my kids like, just give it to me straight. What do you want? How much is it? If I got it in a wallet, we're probably gonna work this out. So, it's the same way with equations. If you pick the wrong strategy for the wrong parent, the answer is going to be wrong. And with equations, if you pick the wrong strategy for the equation, the answer is going to be wrong. So what we're going to look for every single time is are the variables on the same side of the equation or are the variables on opposite sides? So I'm going to say the phrase same side, you're going to say same operation. Ready? Same side?
Same operation.
And then I'm going to say opposite side, and you're going to say opposite operation. Opposite side?
Opposite operation.
So I look at letter D. Look at the variables. Are they on the same side or are they on opposite sides?
Opposite.
Opposite side?
Opposite operation.
Now, what kind of 2n is that? Positive. So I need to do the opposite, which is to subtract 2n's. That makes 3n. I did not touch the plus 7. It's still there. The equals is still there. Ah, danger, danger, danger. What kind of 2 is that?
Negative.
Negative 2. Minus 7, die. 3n equals negative 9. And then I divide by 3, and I get n is negative 3. Okay? So, the big revelation in this first question is that you're looking at the variables, are they on the same side or are they on opposite sides? If they're on opposite sides, you do the opposite operation. You've actually been doing this all along, because if you look down at this step here, do you see how the numbers were on opposite sides? And what did you do? The opposite operation. So you've actually been doing it with numbers for years. But now we're including it to look at variables and do the same thing. Now, I take a look at the next one. Are those variables on the same side or are they on opposite sides?
Same side.
Same side. Same side?
Same operation.
So just do what it says. What's 4x's plus 5x's?
9.
9x's. Minus 2 is 16. Then I add 2 to both sides, because this is an opposite situation. The numbers were on opposite sides. 9x is 18. Divide by 9. X is 2. Okay?
Yay.
All right. Now, one last thing I just want to quickly mention about this. If I had 9x, does it matter if I break it down to 4x and 5x? Or maybe I would have done 6x and 3x? Or maybe I would have done x and x and x and x, a total of 9 times. It's all the same thing, right? And that's why, because I could break the 9x down, I could also build up to the 9x. That's why when they're on the same side, you do the same operation. You take care of it that way. Okay? Preguntas?
No. I don't know what that means.
Preguntas means questions. All right, so, hold it now. Name the property and explain what it is. Who's going to tell me the property on this guy? Chloe? Excellent. How do you know it's the commutative property of addition? All right, that's the addition part. How do you know it's the commutative part? The order is switched. Very good. You know, I just made up a take-home test for you guys. Here it is.
Cool.
It is cool. Everybody's grade should be great on this. Here's the take-home test. In all honesty, without something unforeseen happening, everybody in the class should get on it. It really should work that way. It's fair. There's 10 questions. They're all partial credit. And yeah, but they're partial credit, and some of them have several parts to them. I don't want to take forever to grade these things too. I want to be able to get them back to you. Now, one of the types of questions that's on that test is name the property and explain how you know it is what it is. In other words, justify your response. Tell me how you know it's commutative. And that's where I'm gonna look for what Chloe just said a second ago, where she said the order is being switched, okay? Now, next thing I wanna do is go to last night's homework for just a minute. Oh. And I wanna talk about the properties. Keep going, Bob. Keep it going. God bless. All right, so, let's take a look at these questions from last night's homework. I will explain the answers and then we'll play around with some equations for a few minutes. You know, different people try to learn different ways, and some teachers try to teach different ways. Some teachers are into memorizing things. I'm not. I'm into understanding things. I want it to make sense to me. And then once it makes sense to me, I can pull everything in and see if it aligns with what I understand. God bless. So, I think if you understand the definitions of these three words in the English language, that remembering the properties is really easy. I would much rather just know these words for the English language purposes. What does the word commute mean? We just mentioned it a minute ago, Spencer.
Move, like travel from one place to another. And then
Well, that's an example of it being applied, but it really doesn't mean that in a more general
Go
sense.
from one place to another, then go back.
Yeah, the switching of the order.
Switch, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
commute means to switch. Here's another example, Spencer, you follow politics, I think you'll understand this. Did you ever hear of when a governor or a president can commute a prisoner's sentence?
Yeah.
It's when he switches the sentence. So the word commute means to switch. So you could have someone in prison for dealing drugs, and then the president might decide that he doesn't want them in prison anymore, and unilaterally, he can commute the sentence. Obama just did that with a ton of people. Okay. Now, next one, associate. What's the word associate mean in the English language? Go ahead. Yeah, a group with, okay? So, in the English language, I can remember clearly that growing up, there were certain kids my parents did not want me hanging out with. And they would say, you are not going to associate with so-and-so. And last, what does the word distribute mean? Come on, to distribute, go ahead.
Get out.
To give out, very good. So with those three ideas, let's take a look at these next three choices, A, B, and C. When I look at A, what do you think A is an example of? Commutative, associative, or distributive? Go ahead.
Commutative,
Why?
because it switched around.
What switched around?
The numbers.
The numbers. When we said commutative, didn't I say switch order?
Oh, yeah,
What was that?
the order.
But the order doesn't switch. Check it out. 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5. So the order is not switching there. What's switching here is in the first part. When you put a parenthesis around things in mathematics, those are called grouping symbols. So what we're saying here is in the first part, the 4 is being grouped with the 7, and then in the second half, the 4 is being grouped with what? The 5. So I'm changing who the 4 is grouped with. So since we're talking about grouping here, which property should it be? Everybody? Associative,
Sorry.
right? Commutative means switching order. Now, take a look at the next one, letter B. What would that be an example of?
It would be an example of the commutative property.
Yes, and I forgot to say, the first one is the associative of addition. This is the commutative property of multiplication, because again, the order is being switched. MK, K, M. Okay. The last one, 3 plus 4 plus D. This is, pay attention.
This could be a little bit confusing to some people.
It is a little
But
confusing.
I know what the property is.
Go ahead.
That property is a commutative because even though the group one is going.
Stop. Stand up. Come here.
It's
You
because
can take my job over, you're too good.
okay. The reason why it's commutative is because the order is being switched from D plus
Anthony.
3 plus 4.
Anthony, you're doing a great job of blocking their view. Stand to the side. Good. Turn and face the class.
So
Now, explain yourself.
Okay, so as you can see here, 3 parentheses 3 plus 4 close parentheses plus D is equivalent to D plus parentheses 3 plus 4. So what's happening is that even though this is the same answer, what's happening is that the D is going in front.
That's right. Perfectly said. Anthony nailed it.
It's not associative, but commutative.
That's right. Okay. Next question. Is subtraction commutative? Why or why not? Go ahead.
It's not because if when you switch the order, you're gonna get a different answer.
Yeah, specifically the negative. Right? Like what's 2 minus 5, everybody? Negative 3. What's 5 minus 2? 3. So if you switch the order, you will get a different answer. Specifically the negative of each other.
It's all on the negative.
Okay. So now, let's go to today's lesson. Yes?
Division is also not commutative
That's true.
because if you do it differently, like 4 divided by 2 is 2, you can't, that's not the answer you're going to get for 2 divided by 4.
Right. That's true. Absolutely. Basically, the inverse operations are the ones that aren't there. Why is this doing this? All right, so we did 22. Oh, actually, we just did kind of, 23, yeah. Very strange. Okay, anyway, put that away. Let's go up to here. All right, so we have 6 equations for you to do. Numbers 3, 4, and 5 are all either same side or opposite side situations. Numbers 6, 7, and 8, you need to distribute, and then once you distribute, it's either same side or opposite side. Sometimes both. So you have the next 4 minutes to do 6 equations, 5 minutes at most, and you can talk to anybody you want in the room. So work together. Start it up. You may talk. I know. Feel free to talk together.
Okay, I like math.
Excellent. Me too, Spencer. Good work. You just got 2 points on your average.
Ooh, math is great, I love it.
Nice. You got 3. Do I hear more?
Math is the best subject in the whole universe.
Oh, you got 10.
Radical.
Oh.
Join the great club.
Alright, so,
Oh.
you need help.
I am speaking. You told me not to speak about math.
I'm not going to speak about math. 5 off your average.
I'm speaking about math.
Okay, now we give you the 5 back. Now you gotta start explaining how math is the greatest subject in the universe, and then we go up 10.
I'm gonna join math.
There we go, all right. Come
Math is
on.
used in pretty much every aspect of life.
It does.
The calculator says something.
Because you probably are spending.
Most of these, that's 4.
Spencer, you okay
Minus
over
2,
there?
yes.
Oh, no, I did it wrong.
Okay, now we're getting, because this is a positive. So that's 3.5. I didn't get that. Calculator's not 3.5.
Does she know you have it?
Well, he said it's never a decimal, so we can't do it. You have to do that accidental.
Maybe 50 to the second. Yes, 4 and minus 5 is good.
Do we all get 2.5 for the first one?
I didn't do the first one.
Negative 2 for the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
Remember, not everyone has to be perfect in terms of how it comes out.
Stuff in decimals, I thought we had to like.
Well, here's the thing, if it comes out to like a perfect decimal, it's not a big deal. It's when they keep repeating, that it becomes a big deal. Or if it doesn't repeat, or, well, it'll always have some rounding. Basically, when you round off is when it's bad. Okay. Obviously, if you wrote 2.5, that would be good too. Mr. Cerro, do you play soccer lefty too?
Left?
Do you play lefty?
Yeah.
You know, when I was a girls soccer coach, which I was for a few years, but I always wanted a left fullback. Really good. Are you a left fullback or a left fullback? Yeah, that could be other option. So if you have good lefties, big help. -4 for the third one?
Yeah.
-4 for the third one, guys?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like,
Right, because, let's see,
Oh no, I thought because I was like, well.
yeah, this one's -4, that's right.
Wait, Mr. Lickwood,
Hold on.
I'm reading questions on the phone, and one of them says that these people are riding their bikes at 4 miles a minute.
Okay.
That's really fast, that's like
Yeah, that's-
180 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's me.
Whoa.
Okay, now, if I can have your attention, please, I just want to talk about this one right here, number 6. I think every person knows to distribute, and I think you'll all get to the point where it says 3x minus 12 equals 7x minus 4. And my suspicion is that some people subtracted 7x from both sides, because they just tend to work right to left. And if you did, you should get the answer of -2. But I just want you to know that when you do these, I think it's much easier. Guys, hey, look, stop writing, look. Hey, very important point to avoid sloppy mistakes in the future. It's very helpful if you divide by a positive. You are more likely to get things wrong when you multiply or divide by negatives. So when I look at this phase, yes, I could subtract 7x from both sides, but if I did that, I would end up with negative x's. So instead, I prefer to subtract the 3x. So when you decide, and you have letters on both sides, which way you're gonna subtract or add or whatever, always start with the smallest one. If you start with the smallest one, then the division will always be as easy as it can possibly be. All right? Just for your sake here, 4x, 2, 7, 8. Number 7 is 2, and number 8, 8, 9, 12,
too long.
7, 7. I believe it's 4 for number 8. Doing it quickly in my head. All right. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios, amigos, amigas. Manchioni, you need to get sleep this weekend because you're cranky today.
She got 100.
What did Columbus say? What did Columbus say if he didn't discover America?
Oh yeah. Yes, it is. I totally don't. No.
Yes.